Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to start a new chapter, which is chapter 10 from Big Ideas that talks about exponent. The learning objective, what you're going to be learning today, that you can write numbers in power form and evaluate expressions including power. And the language objective is to identify the base, the exponent, and what does each one means. So let's start today with a power is a product of repeated factors. When we say factors, it means numbers multiplied. The base of a power is the common factor, which means the base is the number that's being multiplied by itself. The exponent of a power indicates the number of times the base is used as a factor. So the exponent tells me how many times am I going to multiply the base by itself. As an example, 3 to the power of 5 is called a power. So it's written in a power form. It has a base and it has an exponent. The base is 3 and the exponent is 5. The number on the bottom is the base, which is the factor that's being repeated, and the exponent is the 5, which tells me how many times the base is repeated, which means 3 repeated 5 times. So you're going to multiply 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 5 times to find what that equals to. Here's another example. Half to the power of 5. The whole thing is called a power that has a base of half and 5 as an exponent. Half is the factor that's being used 5 times. So the exponent tells you how many times you're going to use the base. In this case, it's 5 times. To evaluate, to know what that number equals to, it's 1 time 1 time 1 time 1, and then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 gives you the answer. So writing numbers with exponents, which means in a power form, how are we going to write that? You got -7 in parentheses times -7 times -7. I know this is the factor, which means this is the base. How many times the base is repeated? 3 times. So I know the exponent is going to be 3. Because -7 is used as a factor 3 times, its exponent is 3. So the answer in parentheses, -7 to the power of 3, because the negative is also repeated, as you can see. Pi times r times r times r. Now I can tell there's 2 different bases, pi and r. Pi repeated twice, so it has an exponent of 2. The r is repeated 3 times, so it has an exponent of 3. Therefore, it's going to be written with pi to the power 2 times r to the power 3. We do not put anything in the middle because we know that means we multiply. Now it's your turn. Write each product using exponents. Here's your answers once you finish so you can check it. I know 4 is the base and it's repeated 3 times. That's the power form. The second one, I know -2 is the base, and because the negative is repeated twice, the exponent is 2, and I put it in parentheses, x is repeated 3 times, x to the power 3. Now evaluate each expression. The word evaluate means find the value as a one number, if you're able to. For this example, -2 to the power of 4, I know the base is -2, which is the factor, and it's repeated 4 times. Just make sure you keep it in parentheses because the negative is repeated. -2 times -2 is +4, times -2 is -8, times -2 is +16. Because negative times a negative is positive, positive times a negative is negative, negative times a negative is positive. So when you simplify at the end, it's 16, +16. Look at the difference between A and B. Negative is not in parentheses, so the base is only the 2, not the negative. Only the 2 that's repeated 4 times as a factor, it's not the negative. And the answer will be different. Because the base is 2, it's only the 2 that's being repeated. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, and you bring the negative down. Now it's your turn. Evaluate those 2 expressions. Please pay attention to the parentheses if the negative is included in the base or not included in the base. And here's the answer. Since the negative is included in the base, the answer is 81. For the second one, the negative is not included in the base, the answer is -81. How about evaluating the expression now? Expression when you have more than one operation that you have to perform. 3 plus 2 times 3 to the power of 4. For us to evaluate, we have to follow the order of operation. Parentheses first, exponents next, multiplication and division, it depends on what comes first in the expression. Addition and subtraction also depends on what comes first from left to right in the expression. So let's look at the first one. I know we have power, we have multiplication, and we have addition. So the first thing to do is to evaluate that 3 to the power of 4, which means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and that gives you 81. Bring everything else down. Bring the 3 plus 2 in time. Now I know multiplication comes before addition, so we multiply 2 times 81 is 162. Bring the 3 and the plus down. Last thing to do is to add, which is 165. You're done. Now for B, again, order of operation, different operations. You have power, subtraction, power, and addition. So the power or the exponent goes first. Evaluate 3 to the power 3 and 8 to the power 2. 3 to the power 3 means 3 times 3 times 3, and 8 to the power 2 means 8 times 8, which is 64 to bring everything else down, the subtraction and the division. Now division comes before subtraction, so you have to divide 64 divided by 2 first. That gives you 32. And then 27 minus 32, you're allowed to use a calculator, so do not hesitate to use a calculator if you need to, and it's negative 5. Now it's your turn. Please answer A and B. Follow the order of operation. Here's the answers. The first one is negative 98 when you're done, and B is 14. If you need help, go back and look at it. That's it for today. So the assessment for learning, you're able to write numbers as power, writing numbers with base and exponent, evaluate expression including power, which mean using order of operation. Thank you and see you next time.